Okay, so today we're going deep on some Chinese history, right?
That's good to me.
The Sui and Tang dynasties. Should be fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. Tons to unpack.
Yeah, and you actually sent me some notes on this. Let me see. China notes EQ4 Tang. Was it a PDF?
Yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. So we'll be diving into those.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. I think our mission today is to really figure out, like, why are these dynasties so important? What made them tick?
Yeah, good goal. They're definitely considered pivotal periods in Chinese history, and for good reason.
Okay, so let's start, I guess, at the beginning, right?
Yeah, sounds logical.
We have the Sui dynasty, which comes on the scene after, like, a real messy time in China, right?
Exactly, yeah. You had all these smaller kingdoms after the collapse of the Han Dynasty.
So it's not really China yet?
No, not really a unified China as we think of it. More like a bunch of pieces all fighting each other.
Chaotic.
Very much so. And then, boom, you have Emperor Wen of the Sui Dynasty.
Emperor.
He manages to pull it all back together. Unifies China. It's pretty impressive when you think about it.
Huge accomplishment. Sets the stage for everything that comes after.
Oh, absolutely. And he doesn't stop there. He starts this crazy ambitious project, the Grand Canal.
Oh, yeah, this is big, right? I saw that in your notes.
Huge. Connecting the Yellow River and the Yangtze River, canals all over the place. I mean, think about it. The engineering, the manpower.
Yeah, no small feat.
Definitely not, but it paid off big time.
How so? I mean, it's a canal, right? What's the big deal?
Well, first off, food. The South had plenty of grain, the North, not so much.
Ah, makes sense. Move the food where it's needed.
Right, so the Grand Canal allows them to transport all that grain north, prevents famine, helps the population grow. That's key for later, for the Tang Dynasty.
Right, so the canal was built during the Sui, but its effects are really felt during the Tang.
Exactly. And it wasn't just food, it boosted trade all over the empire. New cities popped up along the canal, even cultural exchange between north and south, porcelain from the south making its way north, things like that.
So it really tied the country together in a bunch of ways, not just physically.
In every way, yeah. Political, economic, cultural, and this is all from just one project, right? It's kind of mind-blowing.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder, why didn't the Sui dynasty last longer? I mean, they were doing all this great stuff.
Well, that's the thing about big projects, right? They take a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, put a strain on things.
Yeah, people get tired, they get overtaxed.
Literally, yeah. And then you throw in some internal power struggles.
The old too many cooks problem.
Something like that. So the Sui dynasty collapses. But, and this is crucial, they leave behind a unified China and the infrastructure, thanks to the canal, for that unity to really flourish.
They hand off the baton to the Tang dynasty.
Exactly. And the Tang dynasty, they take all that and run with it. This is when you get what's often called the golden age of China.
Right, the Tang dynasty. So what was so golden about it?
Well, a bunch of things. They had peace and stability, thanks to the Sui dynasty. They had a good system in place to transport food and goods, thanks to the canal. And they had a growing population.
So they have all the right ingredients.
They did, and they made the most of it. They fostered trade, encouraged innovation, the arts and sciences flourished. It was a really vibrant time.
I see they also introduced the civil service exam. Can you explain how that worked?
It was a pretty radical idea for the time. Anyone, no matter their background, could potentially rise to a powerful position in the government just by passing an exam.
Like anyone. The baker's son could become a high official.
In theory, yes. It was supposed to be a pure meritocracy. The best and brightest, not just the well-connected, running the country.
Sounds pretty good in theory.
Yeah, and it did open up some opportunities, but there were some big problems too.
Like what?
Well, to pass these exams, you had to know a lot. Confucian classics, literature, calligraphy. It took years of dedicated study.
So not everyone had equal access to that kind of education.
Exactly. Only the wealthy could afford tutors and the time to study all that stuff. So in reality, most of the people passing the exams were already from elite families.
I see. So it kind of reinforced the existing power structure instead of really changing it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a good example of how systems designed to promote equality don't always work out that way.
Unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Definitely. And then, of course, you have Empress Wu during the Tang Dynasty.
This is Empress Wu-zation?
That's right. A truly remarkable figure. The only woman in Chinese history to rule in her own right. She was super intelligent, politically savvy, and very ambitious. She even founded her own dynasty, the Zhou dynasty, which lasted for about 15 years.
Wow. So we have the Sui dynasty setting the stage, the Tang dynasty building on that foundation, the Grand Canal playing a big role, and then this fascinating civil service exam, which had some good intentions but didn't quite achieve what it set out to do. And of course, Empress Wu breaking all the barriers.
It's a lot to take in, but you're getting it.
It really makes you think about how history, even ancient history, is still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the civil service exam. It was meant to create a meritocracy, but it ended up reinforcing the power of the elite. How can we learn from that as we try to create more just and equitable systems in our own societies?
That's a good question, and I think it's one we all need to be asking.
I agree.
Well, on that note, we'll leave our listeners to ponder that. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Sui and Tang dynasties.
My pleasure.
It was a blast. And as always, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep learning. See you next time.
See ya!